Why you busy hating? You hating? Why you busy hating? Cause I am the Black Sparrow.
Hi, I'm Charlie, I'm not that brown, and this is Cheaters, the Work Lunch Edition, the show where we help individuals who suspect that their partners are committing infidelity by not eating the work lunch that they prepare for them. In today's episode, we are introduced to Sonia Cruz, a 27-year-old who recently got married to her husband, John, and this is her story.
Hi, I'm Sonia. I've been married to my husband John for 2 months. Now, John and I met 3 years ago, and when we were dating, he'd always come over to my house and I'd always cook for him, and he'd always compliment me on my food. He'd tell me how amazing it was. He'd even take a Tupperware with him to work the next day, and he'd call me and tell me how great the food was and that everybody else at work was jealous of the lunch that he had. And then ever since we got married, it's like everything just changed. He doesn't compliment me the same way anymore. The other day, I was doing the washing and I found pesto sauce on his collar. Now, I know that the night before I had cooked spaghetti bolognese. And that's why I'm just here to find out if he's committing infidelity so that I can just move on with my culinary life.
This is John Cruz, a 27-year-old software developer. Now, is it possible that John has been developing more than just software but a liking for food other than Sonia's? Investigation day 1. It's lunchtime, and John's colleagues invited him to go out for lunch with them, but he clearly indicated that he already had lunch prepared for him by Sonia. But according to the look on his face, he was not too excited about that lunch. We then followed John to the staff kitchen where we saw him mentally preparing himself for the food he was about to eat. John was then joined by a colleague who was curious about what was in John's lunch bag. It was pretty clear that not even his colleague was impressed by what was in the bag. His colleague then gave him another chance to join them for lunch, but this time John couldn't resist the temptation and ended up throwing Sonia's lunch in the trash. We then followed John and his colleagues as they made their way to an unidentified restaurant where they would end up having lunch that day, which brought us to the end of day 1 of our investigation. Investigation day 7. John and his team had just wrapped up a major business deal. As celebratory hugs flew around, the question on everyone's mind was, what's for lunch? And knowing his colleagues, the only option was to go eat out. But John once again declined as he already had lunch prepared. But according to his colleague, that lunch was just not good enough. And unfortunately on this day, John agreed with them and ended up leaving Sonia's lunch on the table and decided to waste his money and buy lunch instead. We then followed John and his colleagues as they made their way right back to the exact same unidentified restaurant. At this point in our investigation, it was pretty clear. John never loved Sonia's food. And as John and his colleagues were sharing selfies, we thought it was time to share our insights with Sonia, hence bringing us to the end of our investigation.
Why you busy hating? You hating? Why you busy hating? Cause I am the Black Sparrow.